Hi Thierry. I saw the premise yesterday night and it got a long-standing ovation at the end of the screening. I would like to start to say thank you for this great movie.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My first question, what can you tell us about the origin of this movie, please?
The movie was made because the great financier, Armenian-American financier, Kirk Kerkorian, who was one of the greatest entrepreneurs in Hollywood and in Las Vegas. He wanted the story of the Armenian Genocide told in film. And so he set aside a budget out of his foundation that we make the story. And the reason he wanted it told was that his parents had survived the genocide, and he was born in America 2 years after they came to the United States. And this was a passion all his life.
The first screenplay of this movie had been written by Robin Swicord. Can you tell a little about your complete rewrite of the screenplay and inclusion of the new character played by Christian Bale?
Yeah. Well, Robin had been commissioned at first by the producers, and she wrote a traditional love story between the Armenian character Mikael and an Armenian woman. I then rewrote the script, and I decided that we needed a love triangle, just for the drama of the love story itself. And that was very much in the tradition of Dr. Zhivago and of Warren Beatty's great movie Reds, where there's a love triangle that tells. But also, I needed a character, the Armenian characters, Mikael and Anna, experienced the genocide on a micro level.
Yes.
I needed a character that saw the political scope of the genocide, and who interacted with the main players, so that the audience would see just the political machinations, the involvement of the American ambassador.
Yes.
So I needed to open up the story to make it epic, and hence the character that Christian Bale played.
The Promise is your fifth movie after Some Mother's Son, Hotel Rwanda, Reservation Road, One Little Soul. Which do you prefer when you make a movie, to write a movie or to direct a movie?
Directing.
Writing?
Writing is very difficult, I find, because particularly with these big political stories, it's a distillation of the event. Okay. And to distill it down and maintain the drama is a great challenge. So, and directing is it's a communicative thing. You know, you're involved with people. Writing is a very solitary thing.
Nice. Oscar Isaac, Christian Bale, Charles Le Bon are just perfect in their role. Can you talk a little about your main casting and also about Jean Reno and James Cornell?
Mm-hmm. Well, the main casting came about when I had finished the rewrite of the script. We passed it around the various agencies, asking various actors if they were interested. And Christian Bale was the first actor to come on board who was very interested. And then once we had Christian, who's one of the greatest actors in the world, maybe, along with Daniel Day-Lewis, the greatest character actor. Yes. Once we had Christian, then Oscar Isaac was very interested. Charlotte Le Bon, we auditioned a lot of actresses for this role, and then I read an article from Steven Spielberg, saying how he had found Charlotte from Canal Plus. And I watched that, and I auditioned her and felt she was perfect. Then with Jean Reno had helped me make Hotel Rwanda.
Yes.
He had played a role, so it was important to me, given the role that the French played in the rescue in the Armenian Genocide. I contacted Jean, and he was glad to play that small role. Yes. And James Cromwell, we needed a really strong character for the character of Ambassador Morgenthau.
Yes. What was for you the most difficult scene, film to turn, and why?
There are two different scenes. The massacre scene in the film by the river emotionally was very difficult, because we had a lot of Armenian extras and Armenian actors involved, and it became a huge emotional thing, particularly for Angela Safarian, who's Armenian. So that emotionally was difficult. The evacuation scenes at the water at night, technically that was very difficult. And the biggest constraint in the film altogether was that we only had 70 days to shoot this enormous film.
Okay.
So we were really going very fast for the game.
What were you anticipating in terms of reaction to this film?
Well, I was anticipating that some supporters of the current regime in Turkey and some Turkish nationalists would be very antagonistic towards the film, and that happened through mysterious interventions on the internet and several events. So it has created controversy for sure. But I think we've reached out to a lot of people outside that spectrum and educated them as to what happened.
It's important. So Gabriel Lloret's score takes an important place in this movie to create a real immersion. Can you talk a little about your collaboration with him?
Yeah, well, from the first that I met Gabriel, Gabriel had worked with one of Bill Harper, our producer, on on Cold Mountain, and I was very excited to collaborate with him. So I showed him scenes a lot, and we talked about the passion of the film and a particular drive of it, and he was an inspiration.
Your movie has a real soul and keeps one attention. It's not only a love story about two men and women, but also a real war story. How did you find the good balance between the two types of stories?
Well, I think it's always weaving those two together is difficult, but you have to make sure that the balance is kept, that the love story, the human drama is to the front always, yes, and that the political backdrop plays out.
Can you talk a little about the Chris Cornell song at the end of your movie, and about your collaboration with him?
Yeah, well, Chris was a lifelong friend of the producer Eric Israeli and was anxious to be part of the project. And so we showed him the film, and he sat down and he wrote this beautiful song, The Promise, which encapsulates the emotions of particularly the end of the film. And so we just let Chris go away, and then he put together this orchestra and produced this fantastic film. And very sadly, he passed away just a few months ago. So it's an important part of the whole film.
Before you came to Deauville, what did you know about this festival?
Well, through a friend, Ruda Dauphin, who's a great supporter of the festival. She's been anxious for me to attend, but this is the first American production that I've made, so it was my first opportunity to come here.
Nice. In your movie, there are two French actors, Charles Lebon, French-Canadian, and Jean Reno. Are there other French actors that you like to work with?
A lot. Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Well, Victor Cassel.
Yes.
Several of the great women actors. It's hard for me to reel off the names now,
okay,
but yeah, no, I would love to work. I'd love to film here in France.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful.
Paris,
yeah,
yes.
And I find French cinema is very inspiring.
What movies have you seen lately that you like it?
What movies have I seen lately that I liked? That's a hard one. I just saw The Only Living Boy in New York, which was very good. With Dunkirk was great. Okay. Jim Sheridan's film Secret Scripture, which is coming out, is very good.
Nice.
What else? I haven't seen any superhero films that I like.
No, it's okay, don't worry. And my last question, what can you tell us about your next project?
My next project will be a feature film version of the short film I made, The Shore, which won an Academy Award. Okay. So I'm going to expand that into a feature film.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I take pictures?
Of course, yeah.